Hey everybody, welcome back to the Big Guy Garage. We are going to be showing you Bodyswap Basics 2. Try to get the light out of my eyes. But we're going to be going through a little bit more advanced stuff on what you're going to want to pick from, more or less. Cobweb on my hand. But stuff you're going to want to pick from instead of stuff that you're pretty much stuck with, like your track width and stuff like that. Because though you have the right track width and you have the right wheelbase, there's other things you really need to consider. And, well, some of it you like and some of it you might not. So let's take a look on the whiteboard. So, here's some things you need to consider. The older vehicles pre 1950s, you probably won't be able to fit the factory firewall and AC on. That's just a give and take of it. The 1950s up to, well, anything after that, you'll fit the firewall with the factory AC. Now, I did add a little third one, which is the 70 plus, which is going to be like your D100s and stuff like that if you're wanting to body swap. I doubt anybody's going to body swap a C10 or C15 Focus because they're already pretty cheap as far as building. But stuff like that, you can use Rams and 1500s and Crown Vics and Caprices for 70 plus. So we're not going to get into that. You can do lots with those. These are the ones everybody seems to be going for. So one of the major things you're actually going to do is we're going to look at the two common ones. That is a Dakota and an S10. Now, the Dakotas are offset in the engine. You really need to think about that because your engine will be closer to one side of your wheel well than the other. That's because it has rack and pinion. It pushes the engine over to the right. The rear end is also offset on one side of the pumpkin too. The S10 is straight. There is no variation between engine and drivetrain. It is completely straight. Pretty easy on that one. But though you have your choice of Dakota and S10, well, you got rack and pinion and drag link. Rack and pinion costs more, drag link's cheaper. So, again, drawbacks. The S10 is skinnier, as in track width. The Dakotas are wider. So, again, give and take. You may have to run wider wheels or spacers. Now let's move on to the next one. This is the big one people really like about the Dakotas. The Dakotas have a V6 and a V8, but the S10s don't. I put V8, I meant V6. There you go, V6. But they have a 4-cylinder, a 6-cylinder, and a diesel. So the diesels aren't nothing special, but you also have the added benefit of upgrading turbos, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the biggie. Most of your Dakotas from the 90s, it's 95 or 6 up, are 6 lug, can be converted to 5 lug if you can find the axles. Or you can buy brand new axles and have them drilled. So they are 6 and 5. The 5 lug is a Mustang bolt pattern. I believe it's 4 or 5 on 4.5. S10s are all 5 lug, and they are 5 on 4.75, which means Camaros, BMWs, Corvettes, all of them fit here. This is mostly Mustang and 5 lug Dakota. The 6 lug, I don't know the pattern right off, but it is really hard to find nice wheels for them, and they're going to cost more because they're 6 lug. But this is basically what you're choosing from. Now, not a lot of people use a Ford Ranger because, well, in my opinion, it's a Ford. We put Dakotas under Fords and S10s under Fords. It don't matter. We just don't use Fords. Well, we did. So, anyway, you have a lot of added benefits to both. If you want a V8, you can get a V8 factory. It's easier to hook up. You ain't got to do no body swap or no engine swaps. The S10, they make a ton of stuff for to where you can run 4 links and coilovers, like special coilover setups, LS swaps, V8 swaps, big brake kits, and they just don't make anything for a Dakota. If you're putting it on a Dakota, you get a Dakota. That's what you get. S10s, you can do a lot more building on them, but again, track width is different. You might be able to get upper and lower adjustable control arms for the front, and the rear wouldn't matter really, because you could run 12s, even 15s on it and make them look real deep and be real sweet. But as far as the front goes, you would have to do like extended control arms or something if you're trying to push it out real far and not have a wide wheel, because skinnier wheels in the front have better track issues, like better traction when turning. But again, no V8 can be fixed. No rack and pinion, that don't really matter. Steering is steering. Other than that, that is your basics for swapping them to help you figure out what you're wanting. Now, again, we did build a 1970 Dodge D100 on a 5.7 Hemi Ram. It was pretty rough, but it did fit. We used the Ram interior, but everything like this is stuff that's a little bit more in depth. You know, Scott did put a 50s model truck on a 92 Caprice. I wasn't there for that. I wish I was. That would have been sweet. But anyway, these are your basics. I'll see if I can come up with anything else to help people with their basics, if I can think of a next thing. But this is basically it for now. I hope this is helping you decide what you want to put on what. We did put an S10 under a 1942, I think it was, Chevy truck. Yeah, so it can be done, but it did not have AC, and you won't get AC on the older model trucks unless it's aftermarket. But thanks for watching. There could be Bodyswap Basics 3 coming. I don't know yet. I'll have to think about it.